Aymz here for Boxing News TV and Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by Peter Fury. Peter, you're in here in Coventry, fantastic night of action. Just give me your thoughts on, we've just seen Sam Eggington, you can see it draped over his shoulder, the WBC silver middleweight title. Just your thoughts on his performance.
Proud of his achievements, fantastic young fella. He's come through the hard route, 30, nearly 40 fights. And, look where he is today. And he's getting better and better. We know every Mexican that's been over here recently has caused upsets, but not tonight, thankfully. So I'm pleased for Sam, and it was a good, solid performance from him.
Is it easy for you to get behind a fighter like Sam? Because he's sort of like Huey in a sense, because he's travelled the hard road, been on the end of some unfortunate fights, I suppose, not had it all his own way, I suppose, but now he's kind of getting that backing, getting a bit of the limelight, the spotlight, headlining on a Mick Hennessy card.
I think so, and people need to get it at the back of him because he's an old school type fighter, and that's what I like. He's a no-nonsense fella, and he's coming through, and his boxing ability is improving a lot as well. He's taking his time, he's pacing his rounds, and he's enjoying his stuff. So, and I think we ain't seen the best of Sam yet. Now he's got that belt, he'll rise his game again.
I want to talk to you about some of the things in the wider boxing scene. I'm sure you know about this, that being the biggest news. We're not going to get the undisputed heavyweight clash between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Just your thoughts on that fallout, I suppose.
It's bad for the fighters because, mega fight, multi-millions involved. Now they've been ripped away from that. They've got to take a lot lesser paces, and fight just as dangerous as two opponents. Wilder's dangerous, and so is Usyk. So Joshua and Tyson's got it to do there. So it's a big climb down, but it is what it is. If you signed up to contractual things, honour your agreements. And if that fight's got to happen, it should have happened. The fight should have never have been made or whatever. They should have talked in the background, but to start announcing stuff and saying weeks away and it's this and that, knowing there's an arbitration going on, that's ridiculous. That's misleading everybody, and it doesn't do boxing any good. That's my opinion.
Is that part of the frustration that builds? Because I suppose we were expecting and waiting for an announcement. We were kind of told it'd be coming, and then all of a sudden it's kind of ripped away from us at what essentially seems to be the last moment. Does that just build that frustration and the build-up that we thought we were going to get it?
I think there's too much politics in boxing. Look, Wilder was doing training videos 4 weeks ago, so obviously he knew the decision back then. Well, he had a very good idea because we haven't seen him before then, have we? So you've only got to look at stuff like that. So it is what it is. There's nothing you can say with it. The main thing is they both got to go to separate ways for now and see if they come through them fights.
As boxing fans, we tend to look at it as like, oh, it's frustrating for us because we don't get to see that fight. But in an actual general sense, is it the right thing? Because essentially, Deontay Wilder had a contractually obligated rematch to get. It was taken for him because of the pandemic, and he had to get essentially court-ordered arbiter. The law's come in and stepped in, and this is the right decision according to the law. So as much as it's frustrating for fans, it's the right thing.
Look, I'm a fair person, honour your agreements. You've had an agreement there, it's a 3-fight deal, 2's happened, there's 1 left. So, Wilder does deserve that chance. So it is what it is. I don't believe in 3 fights trilogies. I think it should never have been a contract for that in the first place. But it's a 2-fight deal and 3-fight deal, sorry, and there's 2 happened. So there is 1 left. So Wilder's in his right to have that fight.
Peter, I want to talk to you about Deontay Wilder's disassociated himself from JD's now. He's brought in Malik Scott. He's training now with him. And it looks like from the little bits of training footage we've seen, they're trying to mimic Tyson Fury's style. But my question to you is, what do you think Malik Scott can bring and add strings to Deontay Wilder's bow to kind of offset Tyson?
Look, I can't really, he's got to improve his game a lot. We've seen he couldn't go on the back foot. As soon as he put on the back foot, he didn't know what to do. He's very upright. He relies just on his power, and what I'm seeing on those things with Malik Scott, me personally, I would not have a 6'8", 6'9" guy rolling under hooks. So listen, it's the heavyweight game, but for me, that's a no-no, and that's what I see him doing. So that's a mistake. So like I said, that's just me looking at it. But they've got their own thing to do. and I'm sure it'll be a good fight. But they need to be both on their A game, give a good fight, because the winner has got fantastic things ahead of him. You know, in this Joshua fight, you know, he's same with him, with Usyk as well. You know, it's a tall order, it's a serious fight, and you know, this is a down thing about both of these fighters. Both of these fighters going into these two fights are expected to win, but both of these fighters know. I can tell you now, because I'm in the fight game. Both of these fighters will know these are not given fights. As a matter of fact, these are both deadly serious fights that could scupper everything. So it's all on the line for minimal reward compared to what was nearly going to happen.
The WBO have seemingly, it appears, have given the parties on Anthony Joshua and Usyk's side 10 days to come up with an agreement, or go to purse bids, or maybe vacate. What do you expect to happen there?
I don't know. You know, they've got to do what's best for them.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: if it was on a business note, if I could steer around Usyk, give a belt up, fight somebody lesser, and get that unification, I would probably go for that on a business level. But if I've got money in the bank anyway and I don't care about it, this is I'm talking about Joshua now, and he wants to prove himself the best in the world and face anybody, then it's Usyk. So there's your answer.
Do you think Usyk has the style to cause Joshua problems?
Yeah, he's got the style to call any heavyweight problems. Southpaw. Listen, he's a good fighter, Usyk. They're all good at this level. You're at the top of the tree. Yeah, they're all very, very good, and they know what rewards are at stake. You know, people that go in. Look, let me make one thing clear to the public: people that go in training camps for 3 and 4 months at a time, looking at that fighter every given inch of the day. Yeah, what do you think's going to happen? These are dedicated fighters. They've got the best of teams, best of finances, best of sparring partners. You're going to see them on their A game. You know, there's so much at stake. So they're all serious fights that can go any which way. That's what makes boxing so interesting.
I want to take you to another point of contention. It happened a number of weeks back now. It's Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. There's been a lot of fallout from that fight. I want to start with, first of all, Billy and the decision to pull Billy out of the fight. Just your thoughts on some of the criticism that Billy's receiving on the back of that pull-out.
So why is he receiving the criticism then?
I suppose it's from a sense of, I think, like Billy, being outspoken as he is, the comments he made about Daniel Dubois, who was in a similar sort of position, he wanted to be carried out of the ring. I think there was maybe an expectation from some fans to see Billy come out. Is that a fair thing to expect from Billy as well?
Oh, listen, fighters say some things, and you know, words to me mean nothing. You know, how many fighters have we seen come up and say they're going to absolutely do this to other fighters, they're going to do this, they're going to do the other, and they go nowhere? It's words. Let's just get real here. You know, fighters have to believe what they're saying, and they have to do that to get in and try and win fights. Yeah? Like I said before, this is a very fallible sport. Anything can go wrong. Yeah? He put up a good performance. He done himself proud in the fight. You're fighting a pound for pound super champion. He's gone back. I could see it was coming to an end. You know, as the rounds was going on. It was going, Billy Joe's doing less and less and less. Yeah? So basically, when he went back to the corner at the end of that eighth, you know, you could see, you know, it was enough. So he sat there. I assume he wasn't responding, because when the camera was on him, he didn't look like he was responding or saying anything. Yeah? So what do you do with situations like that? You know, pull the fighter out. You know, if my fighter, I'll talk about my son even, that's to clear this point, yeah? If he's in that situation, and I know that fighter has got another 4 or 5 gears left, and he's going to really start opening up, which he's not even began to start yet, yeah? And my fighter's give it everything he can, and he's come back, and also he's injured as well, yeah? He's wobbled or whatever, he's in trouble, yeah? Why am I going to send him out there? What for? What for? To get him brain damage. I'm not going to do that. So regardless of what Billy Joe says, regardless of what fighter says, not interested. If that was the case, then Canelo would have been shaking in his boots, wouldn't he, before the fight, of what was said and what everything's going to happen. But, you know, all he got there, Canelo, was a smile, because he knows talk's talk. You know, and you're on this super elite level, nobody's interested in speaking. It's doing, isn't it? We can all speak, so that's all it is. So that's not take away the benefits that he done well for himself. I always said though, before the fight, I said it won't be a walkover like people think. I said he will do himself justice in the fight, so that's not in question. So let's look at the good parts and forget about that, because if he'd been fighting for his life now in the hospital, what would everybody be saying? Safety, and that's your job in that corner. Look after that fighter.
The second point of contention was the corner. I mean, there was Mark Tibbs there, Ben Davidson there, two voices in the corner. I just want to get your thoughts on the corner work, I suppose. Normally, in a traditional sense, there's one man in the corner giving the instructions, but we've seen recently, I suppose, more voices in the corner in the last year or so.
It's my opinion of it. Unprofessional. Yeah. Now look, I can understand Billy Joe. He's got Ben Davidson, personal friend. They probably think a lot of each other. There's a concern there. Whatever. He's got Mark Tibbs. Mark Tibbs is the trainer. That should be the end of the matter. Let's put it this way. If it was me, it wouldn't be allowed. Everybody has to shut their mouth. There's only one speaker there. There's only one trainer there. You're living with your fighter every day. You've gone through your strategies. I'm not interested in somebody jumping up on the ropes, whether it be a family member even. I'm not interested. Go and sit over there. We're running a professional outfit. I don't believe in too many voices saying this and saying that. What I say to my fighters every time they go in the ring, do not take your attention and listen to anything what's going on outside that ring. Anybody shouts, you ignore it. Yeah, you listen to my voice, and I will rarely speak in even between the rounds. I don't get excited, don't shout, because the fighter's not listening anyway. Yeah, you just tell the fighter when he comes back, give him clear instructions, give him his water, wipe him down, get ready for the next round. That's your job. Yeah, you're a professional person doing a professional job. I'm not interested in a bystander. So the answer to your question is, it's unprofessional. Shouldn't be going on. I wouldn't allow it. Period.
Another thing I want to get your thought on is, essentially, I suppose, Floyd Mayweather is doing an exhibition with Logan Paul. I spoke to Ricky Hatton in the week, and he had some choice words to say on the matter. He said that this sort of thing tarnishes the legacy of the type of fighter that Floyd Mayweather is. Do you share that perspective?
I share Ricky's perspective, yeah, I do.
It seems though that we're going to be getting a lot more of these fights. I mean, Jake Paul's just signed a deal to have his fights broadcast on ESPN and Showtime. That's a legitimate boxing outfit that have hosted fights between Mayweather, Pacquiao. Do you think we'll be seeing more of this sort of stuff?
Look, Jake Paul is a top self-promoter guy. Yeah, I think he's a top person. What a clever young fella. He's getting his living. Full props to him. What he's doing with his YouTube business and whatever. But it's very good for him. It's very good for Mayweather financially. It's a perfect business acumen project. Yeah, but that's where it ends. Boxing, it's bad for boxing because we know it's ridiculous.
Final thing for you, I want to take this back to you close to home. Huey, Savannah, when can we expect to see them back out in the ring?
Savannah's penciled in for July, and we're hoping to get Huey out anytime, hopefully in June.
All the best. Peter, thank you for speaking to Boxing News, Stephen Boxing Social. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a fabulous night tonight in this Hennessy Sports Show, so big props to them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.